I've grown up with a lot of political background, if you will. My granddad was in MHK for 10 years, went into Legco, so I've grown up with a lot of that around the house and stuff, so always took an interest in politics. I studied government and politics for AS level, and I actually always had an interest for it, and I think the opportunity came up. I'm in a good position at work at the moment at the Welcome Centre, so now was sort of the right time to look into going for Commissioner in Onchan. I want to make my mark, help the community, but also be a fresh face for the future for young people. So obviously Onchan Commissioner, or commissioners in general, is a good place to start before eventually one day potentially moving into the House of Keys, Legislative Council, things like that. So yeah, Commissioner is a good place to start. So.
And you're quite young, you said you're 19.
Yes.
That's basically fresh out of school.
It is, yeah.
So what made you decide to join the board? Was there anything in particular that you thought, I reckon I can give this a good go, or that's a problem I think I reckon I can solve? Like, what made you decide?
Well, I've lived in Onchan since I was born, so obviously I've seen Onchan change past sort of, let's say, 10 years and sort of taken note. Obviously, being young, you can look at what people my age would want. You look at Onchan Park, what can we do to make it better for people, say, 13 to 18? Look at that older age bracket. All my family live in Onchan, so I've got grandparents living in the sheltered accommodation in Onchan. So obviously looking, how can we make that better? How can we improve that? What do the residents think that they need? Being a voice for them, if they don't necessarily know who to talk to, they don't have a way of getting to speak to a commissioner, an MHK. I just hope that it's something that I can be a voice for the younger people. I think it's very important. Young people don't have a say very much in politics, purely because they don't know who to talk to and maybe who their MHKs are, who their commissioners are, how to get in touch with them. So I want to be an open, approachable person that can do what's right for the community and help people out as best I can.
There's been a lot of negativity, and there's been well-known problems on the last board in particular. So what do you make of that, and how do you think this new board might be different, or how will you be looking to combat that sort of thing if it does occur?
Obviously, the previous board, I don't know too many members of the previous board. I didn't really follow the negativity from the previous board. I tend not to focus on the negativity too much. I like to have a positive mental attitude as my sort of way forward. And I think the best way, you're going to get negativity wherever you go. And I think the best way to tackle the negativity is to, if it's something about you, it's aimed at you, you don't listen to it. Nobody else's opinion on how you go about things. It doesn't matter, You do what you feel's right and what you believe in. And if it's negative, you take it over your head. You don't listen to it. Don't put yourself down and things and just ignore it. Don't dwell on it. There's no point. Life's too short. In terms of, you have to deal with things in the correct manner on the board. You have to be respectful, you have to be polite. People make rude remarks and people say negative things, but as long as you deal with it in the correct way, you can't really go wrong. You follow your standing orders, and that's that. Obviously, I can't make much of a comment on what was said and negativity on the previous board, but hopefully there's now a fresh approach. I've got a good few new members on the board now who haven't been in this position before, who hopefully won't follow in footsteps of what's gone on before in terms of negativity. And hopefully, obviously, with having a good mix of new members and old members, we've got a good combination and we hopefully won't clash too much. So fingers crossed it's all positive. Like I said, you get negativity wherever you go. Things don't always go your way. It doesn't always go smoothly. You have ups and downs, but you just take it as it comes.
You mentioned previously then in the interview that you'd like to be an MHK. Is that what your ambitions are after being a commissioner?
Not immediately after, I wouldn't say, because for me, life experience is key. I mean, like I said, working in the Welcome Centre, that's my first full-time job. I left school, I did 1 year of A-levels and then took a job at 17 at the Welcome Centre. So I've been there for just over a year now, working for the government. That's what I always wanted to do. Don't know why. That was what I wanted. The job came up and do you know what? I love it. And I think having the commissioners as well as that is good because I get the best of both worlds. I have my full-time job that I love and I enjoy, but I also get the commissioners, the politics side of stuff as well, helping the community and things. But being an MHK isn't something that I'm looking to do for 20, 30 years. So we're looking a long while away. Obviously, if the right time came and I was in a good position and things, then I would potentially look at it. But at the moment, it's not something that I'm looking at doing just yet. But it is the dream end goal. If I can get to that, that's me made, done. It is a massive dream, and I've said that from a very, very young age. Lots of the family know that's it. That's the job that she wants, and she'll go for it. And I don't know what I want to do in between. If an opportunity came up within government in a different department, in the same Department of Enterprise, I would definitely look at taking that. But at the moment, MHK is just not on the cards for me. It's a good few years away yet.
So you're not inspired to become the Isle of Man's youngest ever MHK or anything like that?
Don't get me wrong, it is very tempting, the right word to use, it is very tempting, but because it is such a rewarding job. Being even a commissioner is such a rewarding position to have. But at the moment, I'm happy with where things are. I like my job in customer service in the tourism industry, and having that sideline as well of helping the community and working in the commissioners with such a good team. But at the moment, I like how that is. I'm happy with that for my age and how things are going. That's right where I want to be. You never know. I say 20 to 30 years. It could be a lot less than that. Like I said, it just depends on how things play out with government. It might happen sooner.
What do you think needs to be done to encourage more young people to go into politics? Do you think anything can be done?
Obviously, those people who are interested in it anyway will sort of take it up in school. They'll join sort of Junior Tynwald and get themselves working. I mean, I had work experience in the Clerk of Tynwald's office. It's looking for opportunities and reading the headlines, finding out who your local MHKs are, your local commissioners, how the system works, looking maybe at the electoral system. It's down to just sort of looking around, investigating at what there is out there, debate clubs and things, get involved with those in school. If you've got questions, you've got interests, find out who those MHKs are, even if it's not your local MHK, if it's an MHK, someone that you know, or someone within the government area, whether it's, in certain departments. Speak to them, find out, get them to answer your questions. You do become more intrigued, and I think the only way you can get young people now involved in politics is by them. They really need to do it themselves. They need to have the questions. They need to be intrigued. What is an NHS levy? Why is it? Why are they wanting to bring that in? What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons? Or I've got questions. Who can I ask? Go and speak to those people, and then the more digging you do, like I said, the more interesting it becomes, and the more invested you get. That's how I view it. That's how I sort of became interested in politics, bar having family involved as well. But I think it is just down to personal interests, but also beliefs and opinions as well. You might agree with stuff, you might not agree with stuff. Get involved in fill out a consultation. That's your opinion then. That's going straight to the government. They can, obviously it's anonymous. They can see your opinion, see how you feel on the matter, and everyone's opinion counts. Everyone's vote counts, if you will. If you're not happy about something, have your say. Everyone's entitled to have their say, regardless of what it's about. And you never know, it might work in your favour, might not. Unfortunately, that's just politics, isn't it?
Do you feel like you might become a little inspiration to young people on the Isle of Man to join politics?
I hope so. I hope that me taking that step of becoming a commissioner at such a young age, I'm hoping that does encourage people. Like, she's done it. If she can do it, then maybe I can, Because I do think it's important that young people get involved with stuff like this, because it's all well and good giving your opinion on Facebook and things like that, but you're not necessarily being heard. If you're passionate about something and you care about your community and how things are run and how things are done, then commissioners is the way to go. And I'm hoping that me doing this really does help people to get involved, whether that's come and sit in the public gallery and listening to the meetings and taking a copy of the agenda and things and seeing what it is we're discussing and deciding things and whatnot. It is really good to come and listen in the public galleries, even if it's going up to the House of Keys for the meetings on a Tuesday or the Tynwald sittings and listening in on those. It's just a great way of getting involved, and I hope that it does. I hope that me doing this does get people involved. I'm taking that step for mankind now,
Thank you for making it to the end of the Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.